Good morning, good afternoon, everyone.
Hello, good morning.
Hello.
So I think we will start now, just to finish on time. So this presentation is dedicated to the first semester revenue that we unveiled this morning, Paris time. So we are going to do a presentation, and then we will allow a few minutes for questions in order to address the topics that were not addressed during the first part of the presentation. So maybe we can share the PowerPoint. All right. So welcome to this conference. I am Franck Guéraud. I am the CEO and co-founder of the company.
Hello, I am Jean-Gabriel. I'm the co-CEO of the company.
So we start with a short presentation, a summary regarding the company. So Arcure Group was created 15 years ago. In 2009, we specialize in edge computing, artificial intelligence for industrial applications. And we have a complete range of AI solutions that are unique on our market. We will come back to it. You can see on the picture here our main product, Blackster. Blackster is the best standard for industrial safety and productivity on heavy-duty vehicles, forklift trucks, and construction vehicles. The team is 75 employees. They spread across several countries, several continents, and we will come back to it. In 2024, our revenue was 18.7 million euros, and 81% of this was done outside of our headquarter country, France. We have sold more than 25,000 Blackster around the world in more than 2,500 industrial sites. Our typical customer is a large industrial corporation, and among the 500 largest companies in the world, 39 are customers of Blackster. And our coverage is of 50 countries, mainly Europe and North America. And continue. So in terms of geographical footprint, we have a presence in Europe and in North America. In Europe, we have our headquarters in France with R&D, administration, and production. We have sales offices in Spain, Germany, and the UK. We have a subsidiary in North America, in the US, where we have sales and technical base for North America. And for the rest of the world, we cover different countries with distribution partners. It can be in Asia, South America, and Europe. We have also distribution partners in places where we have sales, like the US and France. We will come back to it later. So here we give a few pictures of Blackster installed on forklift trucks of vehicle manufacturers, Stihl and Young Heinrich. Those vehicles equipped with Blackster were displayed at recent logistics trade shows in Europe. It's an illustration of the credibility of our solution. It's sold and factory fitted with some vehicle manufacturers. We also received a few awards from our industry for the relevance of our solution in terms of safety, namely by the BGBAU, the German Safety Authority. And yeah, we over the years we've been awarded with a lot of awards from the industry in order to sustain the credibility of our technology and of our solution on this market.
Okay, so now we can move to the explanation of what kind of edge AI we do at Arcure. So here we have clearly an example of industrial site where Arcure, where Blackster systems are evolving. So here we want to illustrate what AI perception can do. So historically, Blackster was preventing collision between vehicles and people. Now we are using augmented perception using AI, and the system is becoming smarter and smarter. What we can see here, for instance, is that we are able to localize people, detect people, of course, and we are, for instance, now able to identify if there is a risk of collision with the person or not. So, for instance, on the right, you can see a pedestrian behind a barrier. And in this condition, we will consider that the person is protected by the barrier. So the person is safe. So there is no risk of collision with this person. So that means that we will not alert the driver and we will not slow down the vehicle to improve the driver experience, in fact, and avoid any production loss slowing down the vehicle. Also, what we can see is that the system, and this is what we have on the roadmap, will enhance its complete perception of the surroundings. So, for instance, we see a forklift. Further, we can check the distance of the forklift, so evaluate if there is a collision or not. We can see a sign for a speed limit, so we could adapt automatically the speed limit of the vehicle because when you are inside or outside, the speed limit are not the same. We could check on the rack if there are free space for additional pallets or not, if there is a pallet in the middle of the way or not, etc. So that's what we call augmented perception, and this is clearly what AI can bring now to this business, and this is a good example of how we can improve safety and productivity on site around industrial vehicles. So this is our activity. Core value and core business is what we call the artificial intelligence framework. So this is what we have been developing since 2009, how to develop artificial intelligence features, functions, and products for industrial applications. So historically, we have been using machine learning. Most of our products nowadays are using deep learning. And we are implementing additional features with AI agents and what we call visual large language models. And all this is performed through what we call our artificial intelligence framework. So this is all the process managed to select the AI original LLMs, for instance, then to modify it, to train it, to test it, and make sure that in the end, in the field, the AI is doing the job. So as we have been one of the pioneers for that kind of business since 2009, some years ago, we already were part of workshop in France with large players like Thales, Valeo, to benchmark our process and to make sure that we were aligned with the best practices. On top of this AI framework that can be used for any new feature, I would say, in this field, we have a specific proprietary database. As we have been evolving in this business for more than 15 years, And as we have our system available on more than 2,500 sites, we have unique database of industrial sites, which is impossible to copy and not easy to get. We also have equipment connected on site. So for us, it's quite easy to, when we want to develop a new feature, to try this new feature with our existing database and to identify on which site we would like to get additional data to finalize the feature. So this is clearly our know-how at the moment. So how we address the market at the moment? So we address it via two channels. So on the left, this is what we call the aftermarket channels, where we propose complete solution, standalone solution with hardware and software to install, ready to install on a forklift or on a construction equipment. On this platform, we propose a set of different functions, of course, with pedestrian detection. Now we also have vehicle detection to prevent collision with people and vehicle, but we can also, all those platforms are connected. So we propose complete dashboard to monitor safety on site. We can add to that the shock detection, the checklist, zoning with automatic slowdown, etc. So the objective is to propose a complete one-stop shop platform for the user, for the drivers of the construction equipment or of the forklift. So this is most of our business today, what we call the aftermarket, where we have direct contact with the end user and we do the sale via the forklift dealers or distributors, for instance. And on the right, this is what we call OEM business. So selling software and or hardware to the construction equipment manufacturers or forklift manufacturers. Here we believe this is clearly a significant driver of growth in the coming year, as most of the market will implement AI technology in new vehicles in the coming years. And there we propose rather technology. So it could be pure software, of course, of collision avoidance for people or vehicles, but we can add additional features like risk perception. So this is more smart than only preventing collision with people. This is evaluating if people are aware that there is a vehicle around, if the person is protected by a barrier or not, for instance. And we can go further towards indoor localization with visual large language model, etc. So this is elements on our roadmap, and we can propose to those OEM either pure software or software and hardware. Like for instance, we are doing with a German forklift manufacturer who selected us since a year to implement the Blackstar 5 camera and the software integrated completely on its forklift. And go on. So we have an incremental innovation strategy, and the end goal is to reach the seamless autonomy of vehicle. So what we see today is that AI is evolving. So we have currently deep learning, but now we are moving towards AI agent. So the objective of the driving assistance system today is to prevent accidents. We see that those driving assistance systems are getting more and more smart, able to evaluate the risk around the vehicle. And it's not only I detect a person, I evaluate the risk of collision with this person. This is different. And the objective is also to add some production features, such as, for instance, evaluating or helping the load management for a forklift, that kind of things. And the objective is to have a fresh driver driving a forklift with the same performance and the same as safe as an experienced driver. This is the current goal we have at the moment with our customers, and we see an additional step afterwards is to continue to help more and more the drivers until we have a semi-autonomous vehicle where one person will be able to manage several forklifts, for instance, or several construction equipment where the vehicle will stop only when reaching a difficult situation requiring help of a human. And at the end of the day, we believe the perception technological brick will be the missing link to help the scale up of the autonomous vehicle. Why? Because with the AI end-to-end approach, we will be able to simulate kind of an experienced driver. Where we differentiate in our approach is that we believe that we have different steps, which are ways to securize the way towards the seamless automation, where we bring value to the driver, we bring value to the customer, helping to hire people less qualified, but having still a high level of productivity and safety. So this is our vision of the coming years, because this technology is evolving very fast.
Okay, thank you. So now we are going to cover the question of the revenue for the first semester. As you may know, we've made our first semester revenue this morning, Paris time. So it's 6.3 million euro. So it's in decrease with regard to the first semester of 24. As we have explained in the press release, the main explanation for this decrease is the current macroeconomic situation, where we see that a lot of industrial investments are delayed. And we are clearly suffering from the consequence of these macroeconomic conditions. And on top of it, we have also communicated on the base effect that we have regarding the last buy order of Liber that we received 2 years ago. In 2024, each semester, we had a revenue of 1.7 million euro directly linked to this last buy order. This means that we started the semester with a base effect, because this contract with Liber is still not compensated by another OEM business. The OEM business is going to restart from this second semester. As you may know, we already have new OEM contracts, and they are going to produce purchase orders in the coming months. But for the first semester, we didn't have this to compensate this last buy order. So as a consequence of those two effects, the revenue was 6.3 million euro for the first semester 25, and the business was especially low during the first quarter. The first quarter was very, very slow. It's been improving during the second quarter, definitely improving, and we are confident that the second semester is going to be much better. We still have a lot of commercial activity for the aftermarket and at the OEM level. So the aftermarket is still slow because of the current macroeconomic conditions, but we see clear signs of improvement. So from the macroeconomic perspective, at the end of the negotiations on the tariff is going to remove the current uncertainty, and the latest figures regarding inflation and even a potential recession is reassuring. So it means that for the second semester, we can expect those industrial investments to come back. So it's clearly something on which we base our forecast for the second semester. Not only the higher activity that we had during the second quarter of the first semester, but also the macroeconomic condition improvement. So for the second semester, we are going to elaborate more during this presentation, but we don't communicate a guidance per se. We are more going to give an overview of the commercial situation. So during this first semester, where the sales were low, we had to adapt our cost. So we have adjusted our cost in order to protect our profitability. So that's what we did, and that's what we are going to do during the second semester as well. To give you an idea about the macroeconomic conditions in our ecosystem, we are sharing with you figures of Hyster-Yale and Manitou and John Deere also. So all those companies are directly impacted by the slowdown on industrial investments. Regarding their revenue, it's a slowdown. It's less strong as the slowdown in the order book. This is due to the fact that most vehicles are sold in leasing. It means that the revenue of vehicle manufacturers is spread across the months, and when there is a fluctuation in the order book, it does not affect the revenue immediately. It's an effect that is spread across multiple years. For Blackster, it's very different because we sell products and we don't lease them. So it means that when there is a reduction of the order book, the impact on the revenue is happening immediately. So, but if we compare, for example, the reduction of the book order that we see here in their figures, it's very comparable to the slowdown of our revenue for the second semester. But the good news is that when the market is restarting, what is the weakness in our case is also a strength, because the recovery of the revenue will be as quick as the slowdown due to the same effect. We can continue with the next page. So in terms of geographical footprint, things have not changed significantly. Of course, the group Germany, Austria is much lower than the last semester because we don't have anymore these orders from Liebherr. So that's really the main reason for this change. But for the other countries and the other territories, the distribution is comparable to what it was in 2024. So regarding the products, Blackster Origin, the fourth generation of the product, is still the majority of our revenue. We still have a lot of customers that are buying this version of the product. And on top of it, Blackster 5 is starting. That's really the beginning of its career. And we sell it mainly in Europe. So, for example, in North America, we are proposing almost only Blackster Origin. So that's another explanation for this distribution of the different versions of the product. In the coming weeks, in the coming months, and for the second semester, Blackster Origin will remain the majority of our sales, but in the future and in 2026, Blackster 5 will dominate the portfolio, and Blackster Origin will be reduced in quantity. The end of life of Blackster Origin is anticipated for middle of 2026. So regarding the second half, as I already commented, regarding the aftermarket, we are basically in negotiation with a lot of very large deals. Those deals have been delayed because of the macroeconomic conditions, but they have not been cancelled. So it means that we can anticipate still huge activity commercially and a recovery of the sales for the second semester. In all the industries. And especially now that the negotiation on the tariffs is coming to an end, we can anticipate those investments, those industrial investments to come back. On top of it, we have communicated recently on different distribution agreements in Europe and in North America. In the US, we signed a distribution agreement with Burwell Material Handling, which is a major distributor in North America. And this kind of partnership is going to bring a lot of new sales opportunities in the coming months, and it will contribute significantly to the growth of the revenue in the US. Regarding OEMs, of course, the activity is higher than ever because almost all vehicle manufacturers have a roadmap to integrate AI technology into their platforms. So we have negotiations with almost all of them. There is a slide dedicated to presenting those negotiations that we are going to present to you in the coming pages. We still have a strong interest from tier one suppliers also. And we are also in negotiation to provide Blackster technology, either software only or software and hardware to tier one suppliers. And this is also increasing the potential of growth of this OEM business. Right now, the aftermarket is the large majority of our revenue, but we anticipate that in the coming years, the OEM business will become a majority of our revenue. So as I mentioned, we have announced two partnerships. So one with Burwell. They have more than 4,000 active customers in the US. So it means that the product is now being presented to those large accounts, and it's a potential of growth that is going to accelerate our revenue in North America, especially at a time when the penetration of AI into this market is growing significantly, and when the large industrial groups are looking for solutions. Regarding SciTech, so this first deal is covering France, Belgium, and Luxembourg. There is a large potential of growth due to this new distribution partnership. And we are also discussing potential partnership with other SciTechs around the world, because SciTech is a major player in the field of equipment for construction vehicles.
Okay, now we can talk about the strategic vision of the company. The main players in our construction equipment and forklift business are now clearly investigating on how to implement AI in their system. And maybe we can switch to the next slide to explain our perception of the evolution of the ecosystem. What we see is that most of the players are now considering a kind of centralized architecture, a bit like in the automotive business, where what our feeling is that we are going more and more towards what we call a software-defined vehicle. So this is the idea that the hardware is more and more centralized, and that the performance of the vehicle can be improved only by software upgrade. And in this context, we believe that there could be an evolution of the supply chain. And for this reason, we believe that Arcure can become one of the players of the software, and specifically focus on AI application for the off-road business, for construction equipment and forklift. This is our vision of the evolution of the ecosystem at the moment. Let's go on. For this reason, in fact, so we are focusing on two strategic pillars. One is innovation and AI functionalities. So that's why we have more and more investigation about new features using AI and using the most advanced AI, like visual LLM and AI agent. And also we are pushing to develop more and more partnerships with equipment manufacturers, large players, and also tier one. So our findings is that the large manufacturers are currently investigating how to implement AI, what roadmap they have, and we are pushing some talks now to see how we can, what role we can play in this roadmap, focusing on AI. So this is for the large players. For the smaller players, this is more, I would say, more close to what we call to the aftermarket business, where we try to provide our equipment more or less as it is, or pieces of our equipment. And something new is that we now have talks with tier one. What we call tier ones are manufacturers of processing a unit or a camera historically, and now they are interested to have a partnership to propose hardware and software with the large manufacturers. And here we have an update of our vision of the market at the moment. So our market is a bit less than 2 million vehicles per year, so excluding China and India. What we believe is that at the moment 1.2 million of vehicles per year, so OEMs representing about 75 of those 1.7 million, are considering implementing AI in their vehicles. At the moment, we have talks with manufacturers representing like 600,000 units per year. And we also have talks with tier one, where we could, in the end, also reach the remaining 600,000 units with some other large players that we know, but for which we don't have the same kind of relationship, I would say. So what we see is that the adoption of AI on the roadmap of the large OEM is growing. And the good news also for us that we see that the evolution of the ecosystem partnering with tier one is a great opportunity for us to push forward our software strategy, I would say. Here, this is our strategic vision for the coming years. So still we are evolving in a very fast, very dynamic environment regarding AI. So we have been to the last Edge Vision conference in California in May, and we see that the pace of development of AI is continuing to accelerate, creating a lot of opportunity for us. We see also evolution of the hardware. Obviously, the hardware will not be as fast as the software, but anyway, with the kind of the features and the innovation will be led by the software, and with software upgrades, it will be possible to increase performance or to add features for a given hardware. So in this context, we believe that our focus on our AI framework and software orientation on perception systems is still the right positioning in this context, addressing the aftermarket with our complete solution and helping the large players to accelerate the implementation of AI technology on their vehicle and implementing with them on their roadmap new features with AI and perception, helping them to reduce time to market for this technology in their product. So this is what we currently execute. We call this the digitalization of vehicle, and what we see also, because part of our talks with the manufacturers, we see clearly the goal to digitalize the sites and to contribute to a seamless automation of vehicles. And this part we believe is coming, could be clearly a target by the end of the decade with the digitalization of industrial sites. So getting a complete perception of the site and sending this data in the cloud to improve the site productivity and safety. So that's the end of the presentation. Now we can move to the questions. So I see that we already have Few questions.
Okay. So a few questions from Leon Sanders. Have you lost Liber? Maybe you can start with the first one. What measures have been taken to adapt the cost basis? Is expected that the measures will be sufficient to reach profitability for the full year?
So it's always difficult to reduce cost. So basically, it's I would say hundreds of cost reductions in department. We have protected as much as we could our technological assets. So there is no real economy on the technology side, the research and development, innovation. We are trying to maintain our projects. But for the rest, we are basically delaying a few projects for marketing, for industrialization, some projects that are not strategic, but where we could wait one semester. So basically, we are delaying a few investments. We had also in the budget for 25 investments to penetrate new markets, for example, in Asia. So we have delayed it a few months. So those are the kind of economies that we were able to implement. And we deem that it's going to be sufficient to maintain the profitability for the year 25. We will evaluate, of course, the situation during the second semester in order to decide if we can restart those projects that were delayed.
Okay, second question about automation. Knowing that warehouses are becoming more and more automated and with less humans, is there a risk that our technology at Arcure will no longer be needed in this kind of environment?
Yeah, so warehouses are getting more and more automated, you are right, but this is more for the green fields. Our customers nowadays are more manufacturers like tire manufacturer, automotive manufacturer, etc. They don't have, or even food and beverage manufacturer. They have existing manufacturing plants. And on those existing manufacturing plants, this is not easy to implement automation. And that's why at the end of the day, we believe we will help contributing to have a seamless automation on those sites. So clearly for us, we see more this as a... so most of our business today is not in the warehouse or in the warehouse of manufacturers where it's not easy to discriminate and to separate people and vehicles or robots. And when it will be possible to implement robots, we will bring the perception technological break to this to help this to be seamless.
Then we have the question regarding the second half. Yes, we are confident. So what is making us confident is first is that the second quarter was much better than the first. So we have already seen a recovery, and it's also linked to our discussion with active customers. We see also that the macroeconomic conditions are improving a little bit. It's not amazing, of course, but it's improving. So we clearly have positive signs. On top of it, we are going to deliver the first units for our current OEM contracts, which we didn't do during the first semester. So this is going to contribute to an additional revenue that we didn't have during the first semester. So it's not in the backlog, clearly, it's not the backlog, but it's more a forecast based on our current assessment of the market conditions.
And a question about Liber. So Liber did a last buy order. Liber was equipped with Blackster 3 version. So it's an old version of Blackster that we stopped manufacturing in 2024. So Liber made the last buy order in 2024 for the year 25 and part of 26 because the cost of changing hardware and the time and the cost of changing hardware is significant for construction equipment manufacturer. So that's why at the moment we are not doing any sales to Liber because they already have stock for 25 and part of 26. And now Liber has not communicating about its new version of AI on the vehicle. But as far as we understood, it will be more purely software, as it seems that they want to manage themselves their hardware.
Okay, there are two questions from Christian Salinas. One for the expansion, regarding the expansion in the USA. Which milestones do we have for the expansion in the USA? And the partnership with Burwell that we announced a few weeks ago, will it decrease the margins, or do we expect to maintain the current margins in the USA?
So overall, we think that the part of the US in our portfolio is going to increase because the potential of the US market is equivalent to the European market. And at the moment, it's lower in our portfolio. So we anticipate that the US part of our revenue is going to grow. So that's for the revenue. And for the margins are higher in the US because the costs are higher in the US, so it's normal. The fact that we go through a distributor does not change significantly the margin. We did not change our pricing policy due to this change. So regarding the specific question about Burwell, we don't anticipate that this is going to change our margin in the near future.
And there's a last question regarding the visibility on the negotiations we have with big players, for example. Is it possible to have this visibility, the visibility that some other companies that work on AI for vehicle give or not? Can we provide more visibility about our negotiations?
So is it about OEM or?
It's in fact,
I guess Christian is talking about OEM.
Those negotiations are covered by non-disclosure agreements, and this is the main reason why we don't communicate. Even sometimes it's difficult because we are awarded a contract, we receive orders, and we are not authorized to give the name of the customer, which is really painful. So at this stage, we communicate as much as we can. I think we are quite transparent on the specific negotiations. Maybe we could do more, but it's not so easy because every time we want to communicate, we need official authorization to do so. And I am not aware that another company is breaching their non-disclosure agreements with OEMs. And so I don't know. I think that it could be interesting to know, namely, who is communicating about their negotiations with OEMs, because it could help us. But Mobileye is not on the off-road business. Mobileye is on the automotive. So that's something else, of course. Yeah.
But clearly, anyway, to answer somehow your question, we have regular communication with between 20 and 30 OEMs. So some are very big and some are very small. And we have different kinds of talk. The very small OEMs, they have limited ways to integrate our technology. So the objective is to sell more or less what we have in the aftermarket. And for the very large one, we have some talks which are quite long, I would say, but the stakes are very important because the stakes are to be a player in their roadmap. in the roadmap for the coming 5, 6, 10 years. So that's why we, it's a bit slow, and obviously we cannot talk about, namely about those potential partners. And it will be more about software, of course, when we have that kind of talks. And we also have some talks with potential partners for tier 1 to approach some large manufacturers with a common product, I would say, where they do the hardware and we do the software. But all this is talks at the moment, so our goal and our target is to close those deals. And when possible, sometimes it might be possible to make it public, so we'll do that. Sometimes it will not be possible.
Okay. Well, I think we are done here.
Okay. Thank you very much for your time, your questions.
If you have any other questions, don't hesitate to communicate with Mark directly. We can address any topic in a one-to-one meeting also. Thank you
Thank you
very much.
Wish you a good day.